don't know what I would do if I didn't have my old Chad with me.
Chad Hall, he's just like us.
Buffalo Bills parting ways with wide receiver coach Chad Hall last season. Now new wide receiver coach Adam Henry coming to Buffalo.
I'm a coach's coach. I'm not a player's coach.
Although he has a lot of experience, maybe it rubbed Diggs the wrong way.
I love Chad. That's probably one of my favorite coaches I've ever had. He knows his guys and he knows me.
So a younger guy, the best coach on the staff, hands down.
Kind of a breath of fresh air since I've gotten here.
You know, he just likes to have fun and brings out confidence in us that just makes us want to go out there and make plays for him.
Wideout room is a lot of big personalities. The way he handles each wideout person to person is better than any coach that I've ever had.
We have to explore all the reasons why I believe Stefon Diggs could very well be upset, and I think it's more than just one reason. But welcome to my channel here, Bills News Consolidated. As you guys saw in the very beginning clip, that it's clear the relationship between Chad Hall, our ex-wide receiver coach, and Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs saying like he wouldn't know where he would be without Chad Hall, and he never wants to lose him. And I think at the end of this video, you're going to understand what it ultimately all boils down to. But the relationship, hearing that Chad Hall, you know, it was such a player's coach, them being friends off the football field. Now, I don't want to take anything away from wide receiver coach Adam Henry, who we just brought in here, who has a ton of experience, was actually way back in the day a tight end coach. And I think having a good relationship between the tight end position, where we just drafted Dalton Kincaid, where we're trying to mix between this 11 and 12 personnel, having an Adam Henry, having the experience coming from a tight end to a wide receiver coach, teaching guys like Antoine Bolden, so many names, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, Amari Cooper. You know, he just has a ton of experience. But you could hear that Adam Henry has his expectations.
I'm a coach's coach. I'm not a player's coach. So, you know, in the room, we're going to formulate, you know, ideas and what we do. And so as a coach, it's my, you know, job to get guys to do things and do things right and precise. And, you know, but I do have a level of connection with guys. And so, but expectations are expectations.
He's not going to let our wide receivers run really freely, you know, and it might be that he's a little bit more set in his ways versus a Chad Hall, who you could hear talk about, you know, listening to the players, being very adaptive and all these things. Now, we really don't know about Adam Henry. This is all speculation, and just I don't think Diggs is very, very happy. You know, when we lost Brian Dable as offensive coordinator, Josh Allen came out openly stating that he kind of wanted to have a say in that offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. And hearing how Stefon Diggs really, really loved Chad Hall, how this entire wide receiver crew really was happy with Chad Hall as their wide receiver coach, you know, we move on to a different wide receiver coach. Maybe Stefon Diggs didn't have any say into this wide receiver coach. And Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane, they just pulled the trigger on a guy whose credentials are probably the best in the NFL for a wide receiver coach. He's been nothing but a wide receiver coach. So I think he's definitely ready. He's definitely going to help these guys. But the relationship, you know, obviously it starts with having a good bond, good relationship, good trust. And, you know, I think maybe that is why Diggs just kind of went off the wall. He hasn't really established that relationship with Adam Henry yet. Maybe this mandatory minicamp, they started sitting down for the first time, discussing things, having conversations for the first time. You know, I really think there's a lot more to it. And then it always really boils down to, maybe is it the money? It can't be the money because Diggs just got paid. But hearing what Stefon Diggs put on Instagram saying big dog, insinuating that big dog was lying. And we all presume that he was talking about Sean McDermott. And Sean McDermott's words out of that press conference was that he was very concerned about Stefon Diggs. So Stefon Diggs sitting here like, hey, look, they didn't let me have a say in the wide receiver coach. Maybe he's not the guy, possibly not the guy that Stefon Diggs wants. Clearly wanted Chad Hall to stick around. So, you know, is he sitting here like, well, they're not concerned about me. They don't care about me because they brought in this other wide receiver coach, right? So as a player, it's very tough. It's very tough to say, hey, look, you're good enough to dictate who a coach should be. We've seen it in Buffalo Bills history between Lindell and Hashik, right? And all these guys in the hockey. I mean, it goes down. It really, really goes down. And I really believe there is some extra things going on here to include the evolution of this offense, bringing in a Dalton Kincaid, seeing that we're going to probably try to run the ball more with Damian Harris, Latavius Murray, right? And it's just, I think everything is kind of pointing to the direction that maybe Diggs might not get as many targets, right? And I think Diggs is just thinking like we're not concerned about him, or he's not a priority. But if you look at his salary, I mean, that would definitely state otherwise. We're definitely paying Diggs top-notch dollar. But I really think boiling it down to this wide receiver coach, Chad Hall versus Adam Henry. Adam Henry, he has coached some great players, and he's been around some top-notch schemes in the league. Actually, going all the way back to Joe Montana, right? He was a wide receiver coach for the 49ers. I mean, he's just been around the league for such a very, very long time, this guy. And I think he's just going to help this wide receiver core. He's going to help this wide receiver core. Maybe that was our problem. I understand in the slot, you kind of have to be creative. You don't really have to run these pristine routes. You don't have to run crispy routes in the slot. You kind of have to feel, right? You're talking about Dalton Kincaid having a feel, Cole Beasley having a feel in the slot. It's a little bit different. But on that outside, you definitely got to be a little bit more crispier. And I think Diggs is very creative in his route tree. He's definitely unique. I don't know how much that's going to change. I really think Diggs might be overreacting just a little bit. I think Adam Henry is going to be adaptable. I think he's going to be able to come in and adjust to this offense, to how we've been doing things, and just help and cater to this wide receiver core in any way possible. I don't think he's going to be coming in and trying to change things. Now, it does suck. You got to build a brand new relationship with a little bit older of a wide receiver coach too, right? That's the difference. Chad Hall was like almost their age. I mean, Chad Hall's only had like 5 years on Stefon Diggs and stuff, right? This guy's definitely a little bit older, and you heard it in the opening statement. Like, he's a coach's coach. He's not a player's coach. Like, his boss is Sean McDermott. He's going to listen to Sean McDermott, and he's going to do what he thinks is best, not what necessarily the players always think is best. So I definitely believe there's going to be some changes here between Chad Hall, seemingly a little bit more lax. I know he's got the military background and very strict, and they did state, he still had high expectations. Don't get me wrong, expectations are always through the roof. But when it comes down to running routes or just the little minor details, how nitty and gritty is Adam Henry going to get with the Stefon Diggs, with this wide receiver core? But again, I really believe his expertise transitioning from tight end to a wide receiver might be able to even help this offense. Rob Boras, probably the best tight end coach in the NFL, is here too as well. Just about having a synergy, about being efficient on offense. And at the end of the day, if we're efficient on offense, we're going to be more explosive. Diggs is going to have more yards per reception, and this offense is going to be successful, and we could win a Super Bowl. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys truly enjoyed a little bit of the insight there to Stefon Diggs, why I think maybe he thinks we're not concerned or the Bills are not concerned. But, I mean, he is what makes this offense flow, that's for sure. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit like, subscribe. Go Bills.
Yes, I'm their coach. They're the players, but we're also friends. We have dinners outside of the building, and we get to know each other's families. It's special. It's a lot more than just football.